Hello, today we are making this donut sculpture. So it's made out of paper and then stuffed with newspaper, almost like a pillow. When you're following along with this video, you should be completing the steps with me. So as you need to, pause the video, go back and rewatch any steps that you need, take your time and have fun. To make your donut sculpture, you're going to need a donut tracer. This is our large one. You're going to need a donut middle tracer, 2 large pieces of brown paper, and 1 piece of colored paper, and it is the same size as the brown paper. We're going to start by tracing our donut tracer. So take 1 piece of brown to start, and your large donut tracer, put it right in the middle of your brown paper. You should be able to see a little bit of it peeking out the top and middle, but it is a really big donut. We want to use all of our space. Trace this donut tracer on every one of your papers. So I'm tracing it on 1 brown paper, my 2nd brown paper, and I'm going to trace it onto the purple paper. Once you've traced your large donut shape on each of your 3 papers, then take your donut middle tracer and place it in the middle of your donut. This is going to be the whole of the donut. Hold it down tightly with one hand and trace with the other. I am using a Sharpie, but I need you to use a pencil to trace each of these. Next, I'm going to do my shape for my icing. We want our icing to look like it is poured onto the donut. So inside of the circle, but next to it. So I'm not going really far in the middle, I'm staying right next to it. I'm going to make a wavy line that goes all the way around. This is the drippy effect for our icing. I'm going to do the same thing, but on the outside of the small circle. Next, use your scissors to cut out your icing. Cut on the wavy line, the large one first. When you need to cut out the smaller wavy line, we're going to bend the paper. So I didn't fold it flat, I did not squish it or crease this flat. I just bent it, and I'm going to do a little snip inside the hole of the donut. Like we said, we're cutting on the wavy line, so you can go ahead and put your scissors inside of that hole that you just made then, and cut on the wavy line. This is a little bit tricky, so take your time. When you're done cutting out your icing, go ahead and cut out both of your donut shapes. We're going to do the same thing for that center hole. When you're ready to cut that out, bend it in half, make your little snip, and then you can go ahead and cut every part out. Now let's glue. I'm going to glue with my glue stick the icing onto one of my brown pieces. When we glue, we make sure that we twist our glue up just a small amount like that, and the important part is getting the glue on the edges. So I'm following along with that wave, wiggling back and forth, making sure that I have lots of glue. I do not want this to come up at all, ever. Next, we're going to create the sprinkles of our donut. Choose 2 or 3 strips of colored paper. So I chose green, blue, and pink. Do not use the same color as your icing, so I did not pick purple. You're going to take your scissors, and we're just going to cut small rectangles with our strips. So I just have a small amount sticking out, and I'm just going to chop it to make my sprinkles. I'm trying to make them all the same size, so I'm not suddenly going to cut a really fat sprinkle. I'm going to cut about 10 of each color, and then if I need more, I can always add more. Then you can use your glue stick to glue these on. When I'm gluing something small, I like to just pick it up and rub it onto the glue like this. When you stick your sprinkles on, make sure that they are facing all different directions. When we put sprinkles on a real donut, they get sprinkled on. That's why they're called sprinkles. So I'm not putting them in a line, I'm not making a specific pattern, they're not all facing the same direction. Go ahead and stick on all of your sprinkles. Once you're done with the ones that we've already cut, you can certainly cut more using these strips. If you do not use the whole strip, put it back in the pile of strips so that someone else can use it for their sprinkles. When you're done with all of your sprinkles, you're going to get your bottom piece, which is the second brown piece, and your top, and you're going to bring them up to me. I am going to staple around the edges. This is going to be what holds the edges together, and then we're going to stuff it kind of like we're making a pillow. So I'm only going to staple half of your project for you. So I'm only stapling this half, and then we're going to stuff it with some newspaper pieces. So you're going to take the newspaper, make sure that you only have one piece, it's very thin, and we're going to rip it in half if it's a two-sided page. So we have a seam in the middle there, just rip it, it does not need to be a perfect rip. Then you're going to take your half of the page, wrinkle it up. It should be loose. I'm not trying to make a tight little ball. And I need to put that inside of the side that was stapled. Be careful. We don't want to rip it. I'm going to start by taking my fingers and kind of opening up the hole. And I can start to stuff this inside. Go slow. If something pops open, like if your staple comes loose, come and see me and I can help you with it, or you can just finish stuffing it with the loose staple. Whoops, we're sticking out the side here. I can use that as a way to push it in further. Don't worry about gaps, because once we're done stuffing, I can staple those shut. Now I'm going to reach on the other side, see if I can reach it. Not quite. I better stuff it a little further. Just take your time with this. It's going to feel a little weird. There we go. Now I can see it on the other side. So I can start to pull it through. And I'm going to tuck this end inside my donut. And now it is stuffed and it has a bit of a shape to it. I can push it in even further. Whoops! Mine ripped a little bit. That's okay. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to leave it right there. But when you come up to me to have it stapled further, let me know if you have a little rip so that I can staple it. Okay, now I've got that piece of newspaper in here. Bring it back up to me, your teacher. I'm going to staple it a little bit further. I'm going to staple that rip. You're going to take another piece. This time I'm going to rip my half piece in half. So I've got a little square. And I'm going to put it in the area that was just stapled. So we're stapling and stuffing, taking our time. Donuts are a tough one to stuff. You can even just lay it in the middle here. This part isn't stapled yet. So we can also staple around the newspaper. Okay, now that it's been stapled further, you're going to do the last little part with that other quarter piece. So I actually only used one sheet of newspaper for this whole donut. You can squish it, flatten it out. If any of your sprinkles started to pop up like mine did, fix them with your glue stick. Down a little bit. Once you're done stuffing your donut, turn in a photo of your finished work on Schoology. I can't wait to see it.